We are continuing, and of course, we are continuing with lesson 4, strategies. So, everybody? Okay, all right. Okay, so the last time when we talked about strategies, we talked about the most common strategy, which is reading the question first and then reading the text. Well, today we are going to talk about another strategy, but let's do another practice question. Remember, we got 71 seconds, so we're going to try to be a little serious about time here. Here is the text. You got 35 seconds to read it. Okay, I think that was about 35 seconds. Let us continue. Here is the question. And here are the answer choices. Do not call out the answer. I will select someone to do that. We're going to take about 10 seconds to navigate those answer choices. Judy, what you got? Jenna, what you got? You say B. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to continue on. I got a question, Judy. Jenna, how did you come to the answer? Did you have a particular strategy that you use? Just curious. No? All right, so oftentimes when students, especially if it's a difficult question, what you're going to notice today, the set of questions that we're going to be using for this particular strategy are more difficult than the questions you had yesterday. And that's actually intentional because the test of a strategy is when you're faced with a difficult question, not when you're faced with the easy questions. And I bet my life on this strategy. It's tried and proven. For over 20 years as an SAT tutor, this is the only strategy that I taught students. I told them the others are irrelevant. This is the one that works, and it did. The answer was D. But point being is that when you go into answering a question on the SAT, you have to have a strategy. And my strategy, the one, I didn't make it, I can't really call it mine, but it is the one that I can guarantee will be successful. It is called the elimination strategy. The best strategy, in my opinion, and I'm not just talking about observing, I'm talking about from helping students achieve high scores on the SAT. Because unfortunately, the clients that I dealt with, they were trying to get high scores. I never got anybody who, in other words, I never got any easy clients. They were all clients trying to achieve a high score. It's the only time they called me, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Okay, so we're going to do the elimination strategy, but we got to understand exactly what that is. Another way to call this strategy is the find the wrong answer strategy, because you're only looking for the wrong answers. Now, that might sound weird to you, but if you think about it, if you're able to find all the wrong answers, you're going to be left with the right answer. And that's the purpose of this strategy. eliminating the wrong answers. But you have to do it in certain ways. You're looking for certain things. And the first thing that you're looking for is that extreme answer choice. The one that has absolute words like always and never, proves, and so forth and so on. Anytime you see one of those words in the answer choice, don't even finish reading it. Just mark it as eliminated, because that is definitely not going to be one of the answer choices. Another thing you should be looking for is an answer choice that is true, even according to the topic that is being discussed, but has no relevance to what is being discussed. If the passage was talking about climate change, and the answer choice says something about cars contributing to climate change, that's true. But the passage talked about polluting the oceans. So easy answer choice to eliminate. You got to look for those true, but not relevant. A direct contradiction to what the author was talking about, what the author agreed with the position of the author. Whenever you find an answer choice that directly contradicts something like that, eliminate it. Unless the answer choice is asking you to find, to determine the contradiction. If the answer choice is not asking you that, and the answer choice is there, then, especially if the answer choice is asking, what would the author agree with? Something like that. Obviously, if it's a contradicting answer choice, then the author's not going to agree with that. 1 second. Unbelievable. Okay, let's start with the strategy. I'm going to finish talking about it, but I'm so excited because I believe in this strategy. I want to get started. 1 second. Let's at least try some practice questions before we start asking questions, because then we have a better context in any questions that are being asked. And maybe by the time I tell you ask questions, I've already answered it. So let's start. Remember, we cannot forget our timing, time management being the most important aspect of any strategy. So all strategies contain time management, 71 seconds. And look, when you're doing your practice, should you have a timer every time you do a practice test? Yeah. If you're not doing it digital and you're doing it in a book or on paper, you should have a watch, a phone, something keeping time. You need to know how long it takes you to do things. You got 35 seconds. Ten seconds. Okay. 35 seconds for the question, but hold up. I don't want anybody to say anything, because what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate first the answer choices that are, without a doubt, wrong. We're not interested right now in the correct answer choice. So here's the question. And Jenna is going to start. I need you to eliminate one. Which one? We're running out of time. A, I need Farida eliminate another one. She says A.
C.
C. Now we're left with B and D. And now we got a 50% chance. What do you say, B or D? You say D. Quite impressive. It is D. Wow, I'm quite impressed. Okay, let's do this again. Here we go. Ten seconds. Okay, moving on to the question. Okay, Judy, we got 20 seconds. I need you to give me one answer choice that can be eliminated. So we're going to eliminate A. Let me get another answer choice, ma'am. Need another answer choice to eliminate. Shh. We're running out of time.
D.
Eliminate D. So A and D. Now, Farah. You're going to eliminate B, yes? Excellent. I guess I don't have to call on anybody else because the answer is C. So you are correct. You are correct. Very, very interesting. Wow. Look, here's the issue. This strategy, understand, the goal of this strategy is for you to eliminate two. If you can eliminate two answer choices, the strategy works, I wouldn't say perfectly, but very close to it. Because now, after eliminating two, you're down to a 50% chance, which is really good. So now you got to make a decision. Your decision is go back to the text or choose the one that your gut tells you is correct. Depending on the amount of time that you have, you probably want to do the gut. That's the whole reason you're doing the strategy, because you don't really have time to go back to the text. But if you do have time to go back to the text, then yeah, that might be a good option for you. Any way you slice it, having to choose between two answer choices is much better than having to choose between four. So you have to ask yourself some questions. You got to ask yourself, which is directly stated? Which one matches your gut feeling or your instinct? And which answer, of course, answers the entire question. And another issue that a lot of students have is they don't read the entire question, which is not something that you want to start doing. You want to make sure you read the entire question, because I guarantee you there's going to be an answer choice that answers part of the question, but not all. This is one of the ways they kind of trick you. So you got to be aware of the entire question. Then, of course, you want to make sure you make your final checklist, and that is, would you be able to point to the evidence if you had to? Which one precisely and specifically states? Does it contradict something? These questions you ask yourself before you make that final decision. But remember, you don't have a whole lot of time. You got 35 seconds to make the choice. So you got to go through this checklist pretty quick in your head. And I, so far, think that you are doing just that. Let us try again. 35 seconds.
Isn't this the same answer? Or the second person?
5 seconds. Okay, here we go. Here's the question. And here are the answer choices. Let me get, yes, ma'am. I need you to eliminate one of the answer choices. Okay, B, over here, give me an answer choice. Yes, ma'am. Give me an answer choice. She said B. Give me another one to eliminate.
A.
Okay, A and B gone. Now, Sema, it's time to decide. A and B are eliminated. Shh. No. A and B are eliminated. Sema, come on. A and B are eliminated. Okay, actually, C is correct. C is correct. With a little bit of focus on this strategy, from my experience, it's kind of difficult to get this one wrong.
It's B.
No, it's not. It is C. Yes. Both passages emphasize looking beyond behavior to this whole idea of the causes of it. So, and let me ask you a question. The passages look familiar because some of you have already read this text before. These questions are being extracted from the article in the Quick Thoughts. That's why it looks familiar. Inference questions. Since the beginning of time, SAT time, students have said inference questions are the most difficult questions on the SAT because they involve looking beyond the actual words, and that is kind of hard when you are stressed at that moment and you are pressed with time. The best strategy, the most amazing strategy to use in a situation like that is the elimination strategy. It takes, what it does, it takes a huge thing and it cuts it down to something small and manageable, and that is definitely something that you want to do. Look, you got to have this mindset, and the mindset is that you have to not only understand you're not looking for the good, the perfect, the best answer with this strategy, you're looking for the wrong answer, but you also have to have the mindset in general that all the questions, all the answers to those questions can be proven. It's not like some trick test that has no correct answers. No, there's a correct answer. And this emphasizes the point that we made in the other lesson that you are supposed to be taking your practice tests, going back and looking at your wrong answers to understand the why, especially with questions dealing primarily with literature and reading. You have to understand why you got it wrong to instill confidence in the test. Because oftentimes when you look back and you see why you got it wrong, you go, oh, yeah, that's right. And then you are less likely to make the same mistake again. You have to believe that each question has an answer that makes sense relating to the text. And it does. Make sense? What I just said, it makes sense? Okay, that's the elimination strategy. Now look, we have coming up over the next 10 lessons at over 50 questions, practice questions. From henceforward, the practice questions, we're not going to be dealing with questions based on the strategy. That part you have to use with every question. From now on, we're going to be dealing with practice questions based on the question type. So I need you to utilize these strategies each time we go over a practice question. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you have some natural way you like answering the question, you need to get rid of those and replace them with strategies, proven strategies. You can use the first one, the common one, to read the question first and then the text, although I do prefer the elimination strategy, but you have to use one or the other. Do not use this other stuff that maybe you even came up with. These are tried and proven strategies. Okay, question.
Hey, howdy. In this
What's up?
Tell you what, a person who believes that this wasn't set up by our own government is an idiot.
Everybody's gone out of their mind.
Welcome to Mr. Quick's class.
Welcome to Mr. Quick's class.
Welcome to Mr. Quick's class.
Welcome, Mr. Quick's class. Oh yeah. All right.